So folks, I have a question to you all. Who is the architect of Taj Mahal? Or maybe I'll ask you a different question. Who is the architect of Howrah Bridge? Who is the architect of Red Fort? Who is the architect of White House in the United States of America? Okay, you may be thinking, let me ask a different question. Who is the architect of Windows operating system? And to be honest, many people might be familiar with the architects of the world-renowned monuments, but not the architects behind the software industry, who are actually the pillars of every product and every software that gets released in the market. Hello. Hi there. Welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series. The Guiding Voice for a better future. This podcast is to help professional students, IT employees, and entrepreneurs to shape their careers. Dear listeners, in every episode, we interact with industry experts, or academicians, or leaders, or coaches across the globe to drive some insightful conversations that will help each one of you learn great things. Also, we share an interesting trivia or a fun fact about the IT world or technology towards the end. So don't go away. Stay till the end. Thank you for tuning in. This is Naveen and I'm with my co-host Sudhakar. So today we are going to discuss a topic which is in line with my introduction, the role of a solutions architect, which is a very, very critical role, but many times the role of architect is overlooked, especially it is not visible to folks outside the organization. And we are pleased to welcome SUBRAMANYA to our show to cover this important and niche topic.
SUBRAMANYA is a senior software professional with 18 plus years of experience in planning, designing, and development of enterprise software. He has sound experience in IT services and infrastructure management. SUBRAMANYA has proven track record that includes successful releases of software, conducting competitive research and analysis of technical solutions, and of course, more importantly, mentoring the development teams. SUBRAMANYA, welcome to our show.
Thanks, Sudhakar. Thanks, Naveen, for a great introduction. And nice to have me in this discussion. Thank you once again.
It's our pleasure to host you, SUBRAMANYA. Thanks for taking time. Before we move forward, SUBRAMANYA, can we talk briefly about how you scaled up to be a solutions architect of this size?
Sure, Sudhakar. So I started my career as a computer hardware professional. Later, I moved into software design and implementation, implemented many solutions in multiple programming languages like Java, PHP, Node, HTML, and CSS, latest with HTML5 and other things. Got experience in multiple business domains from retail, pharma, and lot of other domains. Also, I have spent my time in many startups. I have been into my journey where I could able to learn more of the business process and also completely managing the IT system of a business. All this experience came handy to handle or to take up the solution architect role.
Retail, pharma, startups, developmental experience, IT infrastructure. So what did you leave out, SUBRAMANYA?
Yeah. I think, this came into handy because I am of the person who wanted to do everything. So that's where I just tried my hands into multiple things, which is very much required for a solution architect role.
Excellent. Now that we talked about solution architecture, what is a typical role of a solution architect and how your past experience of development side, application maintenance side, infrastructure, startup, all of that helps you in becoming a better of yourself?
Yeah, solution architect define how a different component of business like information and technology used in a solution. Solution architects put their effort and experience. Like if you take as an example, my use case as an example, like ideation, research, design, and implementation experience came into handy to create a proposed solution. During the ideation and content for a solution is considered, the solution architect then selects the optimal strategy that business gives, right? We have to make a roadmap for the development team or for the technical architect, which will guide the development team and technical architect for the implementation, which we have to have a particular roadmap like how it has to be done and how it has to be executed. Then we will hand over that to the technical architect.
That's quite interesting, Subramanya. We also come across another role called enterprise architect. So how do you think the solution architect role is different from enterprise architect?
Yeah, I would say solution architect responsibilities is subset of the enterprise architect. Enterprise architect is kind of above the solution architect. In most of the companies, both will be handled by a single person. On a bigger like enterprises, right? They will have enterprise architect different and solution architect different. Enterprise architect responsibilities are like address growing demand and how to reduce the cost in case of Azure cloud management and other thing, and increase the flexibility and regulate the technology environment. But in case of solution architect, takes the problem outlined by the enterprise architect and propose the building blocks to solve it. So they will give the overview, enterprise architect, and solution architect will give the each block, how it has to be done and how we have to reuse the element, like enterprise building block or enterprise capability, architectural standards and guidelines. These each piece by piece will be given by the solution architect, like if any other integration point or anything like that we can already use to go to market as soon as possible. Those are the things that solution architect evaluates and gives the solution to the next team, which is the development team.
That's great. This architect role seems to be very, very challenging because you have to be on your toes learning new technologies now and then. And we also come across this scenario wherein business says, hey, guys, we heard about a new technology. Is there a way where we can migrate this legacy application to new technology and all, right? So likewise, I anticipate a lot of challenges. Can you explain in your terms what are some challenges that you face on day-to-day basis in your role as a solutions architect?
Sure. There are many challenges that face. That's how our multiple thing that I've done, right? Multiple technology or multiple domain comes into handy. There are some challenges that I will just briefly explain, like handling legacy old system on a new cloud platform. This is where the newer trend is happening, right? All the systems that is very legacy, like 15 years old, 20 years old, we have to move it into new cloud platform because to get the cost under control, then the OPEX versus the CAPEX, all those things. So this is the most challenging thing. We have to run this with the same performance and other things on the cloud, but we don't have the cloud enabled code or cloud enabled system. So that is the most challenging part as of now that I'm dealing. Then application security and data security, we have to, on the development side, they will just write the code and give it. Though the running that, right, the operational team has to have a data security and application security management. All those things needs to be taken care, where solution architects plays a role to handle those issues. Even the integration with the multiple platform. In case of if you take an example of the UPI integration, those are the integration that lot of people use, right? Load will be too much and all the integration components should work properly without failure. If there is a failure, we have to see how to rectify that also online, right? So those are the most challenging thing that any solution architect comes. And also we have to be always thinking how to overcome on the vendor locking dependency of the particular system or a operating system. How do we make it is robust and it will run without any locking with any of the vendor.
Subramanya, you talked about diversified challenges. You talked about integration of legacy applications with current trends like cloud. You talked about security. You talked about vendor locking and all. So that means not the one specific skill, right? You need to learn diversified skills which are not in your core area but also adjacent to you as well. So how do you learn these technologies? What are the various sources that you depend on?
Correct. As you rightly said, right, we have to always looking at, and we should be always upgraded, if I say. into a lot of technologies which are coming, or a best solution which are coming that we can accommodate in our product. There are a lot of options available now compared to earlier when we started our career, right? There was no Google and other things. We used to go with the books and learn the basics of the thing and create a POC, and before jumping or before going to any actual coding, right, we used to get the basic thing learning properly, like a data structure or whatever it might be. So that is most important. We have to have basic thing before implementing anything. Like you can't directly go and get some code from the Google and try to run that. It will not work like that. So you have to have a basic thing or create a POCs which will make the use case easy to prove it. So there are many technology meetups that is happening nowadays of any technology you consider, like our cosmopolitan Bangalore, right? You will have a lot of technology meetup happening, and you can make use of that, talk to industrial experts on that, and get the best out of the thing for any technology that you want to learn.
Subramanya, you have almost been there, done it in every aspect, because like I was mentioning, application development, maintenance, infrastructure, large organizations, startup, consolidation. So what's next for you after this solution architect role?
Yeah, that is a question. Yeah, to answer. So I'm seriously thinking about, building my own venture basically. That's how I think all the retirement kind of thing that happens on the IT, right? So I have experience on infrastructure development, maintenance, and maintaining the multiple businesses and other things. So I'm planning to have my own venture, but not now. But that is what I'm thinking. Slowly, I will make a kind of my own consulting firm or a development firm in the coming days.
That's amazing and very inspiring at the same time. So, Subramanya, I think we have been talking a lot on the professional front and engaged in a very serious conversation, talking about the role of a solutions architect versus enterprise architect, talking about technology, evolution, migrating legacy to the upcoming technologies, so on and so forth. So, I want to spice up this conversation with a few rapid fire questions. And are you ready for that?
Yes, sure.
Perfect. So thank you for accepting. Let me fire a big bullet to you right now. So what is the secret about you that you haven't shared with anyone so far?
Yes, that nothing I can think of. I'm very poor in remembering things, so nothing I can think of as of now.
That's a very smart answer, and you escaped cleverly. Okay, it's okay. Moving on to the next one. What was your best buy so far?
So I think as I explained in the earlier question, right? It is I'm very poor in remembering things. But latest that I can tell is I bought a bicycle for my son. Like seeing him happy after he got it, right? So that made me happy too.
That's good. And being in the technology industry, right, for the last 2 decades and all, what according to you was the best invention in the last 50 years?
Yeah, I think there are many products which are service around us, which has evolved too much out of 50 years. I would take World Wide Web is the, kind of a revolution which happened about last 50 years, where everyone can meet virtually and do a lot of things using an World Wide Web.
Absolutely. I concur with you as well. Coming to the next question, if you could be the CEO of an existing company, what would that be?
Yeah, there are many, but I would go in the recent terms, technology that they apply creating the product. So I would opt for Tesla.
Absolutely. Many of us aspire to work for Tesla and good to see that you are aspiring to become a CEO. Wonderful. So last one for the rapid fire, Subramanya. Have you ever saved money to buy something you want, and what was it?
Yeah, so this is the one which touched my heart too much. So when I was in school, I wanted to buy a premium watch at that time. a Titan premium watch. So when I started my career, right, I did save for 3 to 4 years to buy that basically. So that was very heart-touching for me.
Wonderful. That was a great rapid fire questions, and thank you for all the answers. Over to you, Sudhakar.
Sure. So Subramanya did not use the excuse of he not remembering things, at least for the last answer.
Correct.
So Subramanya, one final question for this session.
Yeah.
What is your one piece of advice to those aspiring to make big in their careers? Someone like diversified technocrat like you, what should they do?
I would say don't stop learning. So always give your 100% on what you do, no matter if it comes like a failure or a success, right? You give your 100% in whatever you are doing. It will certainly give you the result. So always the failure is the learning that you get. So don't stop learning or don't stop doing if you have a failure in your whatever you are doing basically.
Excellent. Subramanya, thank you so much for joining us today. It was indeed great to have that conversation with you, primarily on the role of solution architect, but really happy to know the diversified knowledge that you possess from development, infrastructure, security, startup experience, large enterprises. It was an amazing experience for us, and I'm sure our audience are going to love every bit of this.
Hey, thanks, Sudhakar. Thanks, Naveen, to give me a chance to share some of my experience. I hope this will be useful for someone at least.
Definitely, and pleasure is all ours. Thank you so much for joining us today, Subramanya. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Naveen. Yeah, thank you.
And folks, if you have liked this episode, please share with at least 3 of your friends or colleagues for whom you care for. Because the Guiding Voice podcast series is a purely not-for-profit venture, and our team puts in a lot of effort to bring the best conversations to all our listeners. And our purpose is very clear. We want to provide curated guidance to all the professional students out there, be it from engineering, B schools, and all the IT employees and entrepreneurs, so that all of you can make informed decisions based on the insights that are driven by the industry experts, coaches, leaders, or academicians across the globe. Because if you share this with your friends, it helps them also learn great insights from every episode. Or if you're listening to the Guiding Voice podcast on the Apple podcast, please do not forget to leave a review and a 5-star rating, because every rating will help us expand our reach and contribute to our mission to shape the careers and lives of millions of people across the globe. And if you are watching the episode on YouTube, please do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. And last but not the least, I want to reiterate, please share with at least 3 of your friends or colleagues. Thank you so much in advance. Alright, so it brings us to the trivia segment of today's episode. And today's trivia is about human brain. So folks, do you know how powerful is our human brain? I know you may be thinking, and many of you are thinking that it is more powerful than a computer. Yes, you guys are right, but it is more powerful than very powerful computers as well. So if there was a computer which is as powerful as a human brain, it would be able to do around 38,000 trillion operations per second and also hold more than 3,580 terabytes of memory. That's humongous, isn't it? Thank you for listening. There is more in store, folks. Stay tuned. Take care. Be safe. Until next time. Bye-bye. And we are signing off for today. See you in the next episode.